Hi guys, I'm back. And look what I did. Oh, I literally just freshly dyed it this morning. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm kind of scared of it, but I'm also kind of loving it. I'm just going to have to rock it like Rihanna. There's no other choice. I'm just going to have to do it. I'm glad you're here because I have a very exciting new series coming up in the next few weeks. I'll be taking a closer look at the different Australian states, and I'm going to be counting down my top 5 places to visit in each state. I mean, there's good news on the horizon, vaccines are rolling in, woo! But it's still going to be a while before normal travel can resume. But that doesn't have to stop us from planning our next adventure and keeping those dreams alive, right? Okay, so I have the Australian states here in my bucket. Let's dive in and see which state we're going to be talking about today. So the first state that we are going to be looking at is Western Australia, a state which I really believe does not get the attention it deserves, thanks to their celebrity neighbours, New South Wales and Victoria, which are always hogging the spotlight. I am going off of personal experience, so I'm really sorry if I miss out any amazing places, but it would be quite disingenuous of me to recommend anywhere that I've not visited myself. So let's kickstart this list with number 5, the Kurabari coastline. This pretty bit of coastline is just 600 kilometres north of Perth, which means it's only a 7-hour drive away. 6 if you really put your foot down, or for maximum convenience you could just fly to Geraldton Airport, which is about a 90-minute drive. I mean, that's pretty good considering there's about 9 people per square kilometre across the whole of Australia. The Red Bluff cliffs look particularly stunning at sunset, showing off their majestic patterns in the glorious sunshine. We took a lovely gander across the cliff tops and visited the stunning vibrant pink lake that you always see pictures of on Instagram. And here's what we found. We must have just visited on a particularly bad day. Also, I don't know how to use Photoshop. Number 4 is Coral Bay. Coral Bay is a quote-unquote marine paradise famed for its coral reef found meters just below the surface, which means you can slap on your sexiest snorkel that some tourist trader probably charged you $50 for and go swimming with the tropical fish. The water is beautiful and clear, making it all the easier to spot those great white sharks that hang around there. Just kidding, they're only small like reef sharks. They won't hurt you much. Apart from damaging your already leathery skin on this stunning beach, you can also learn to scuba dive and take tours to see whales, turtles and manta rays. Oh, look, a stingray! Stellar camera work there. Number 3 on this list is the city of Perth. This unappreciated middle child of the Australian cities has actually got a lot going for it, and there's lots to do and explore. My favourite area of the city is definitely the Bay Area. There's lots of green space, you can take a boat ride around the bay, and there's lots of pubs and restaurants overlooking the water. I would recommend taking a walk along the pier in the evening and watching the colourful lights reflect off the water. It's really beautiful. Did you know that Perth has the largest inner city park in the world? That means it's larger than Hyde Park and Central Park. Kings Park overlooks the bay and is the most visited attraction in Western Australia, with 5 million people visiting every single year. That's nearly half of the entire Australian population. And in September, you can visit Australia's largest flower show in the Kings Park Flower Festival. Perth is also the 2nd largest producer of gold in the world, so you can easily spend your cash there. But of course, you have to have money to spend money. But if you don't have any money, that's okay too. You can just join the large community of poor backpackers in Northbridge, where there's plenty of restaurants and bars that make most of their money off of drunk backpackers who are in Australia to find themselves. Make sure you also visit Fremantle. This port city is in the southern metropolitan area of Perth, where you can gorge yourself on delicious food in the historic market. You can also go visit this creepy prison and find out the torture that the prisoners endured. It's fun for all the family. And one last thing, Perth has plenty of beaches and is actually the sunniest city in the whole of Australia. So if you're looking for that sun holiday with the capitalist consumerism of a big city, then Perth is your place. So in at number 2 is Rottnest Island. Named by the Dutch after all these weird looking rats running around. Turns out these rats are actually called quokkas, and they're really cute. They're the smiley little creatures that love to get selfies with people. Here's my attempt. Nailed it! Rottnest is just a wholesome day out, whether you're with friends or family. The island is only around 19 square kilometres big, so you can visit the entire island in just one day. You can sail around on a boat, or you can go by bike, which is a poor man's boat on wheels, or you can go by Segway, which is a lazy man's bike. I actually love a good bike ride. You can stop wherever you like, say hi to the quokkas, enjoy the sunshine. Yes, even hiring the bikes is pricey, but looking back on it, it's actually really worth it. And there's so much you can do on the island, including skydiving and playing golf. Did I mention you can meet quokkas? In the whole world, quokkas are only found on a couple of islands off the coast of Western Australia, but Rottnest is the place to go if you want to see them. Aren't they just the cutest? They're also little brats. Look at the thieving snipe. And finally, we come to number 1 on our list, which is Karrigan National Park. This is, in my humble British opinion, the jewel of Western Australia. I love the number of waterfalls and gorges you can visit. Karrigan is the second largest national park in Western Australia. The natural beauty in this park is unreal, and the rocks found in the gorges are like 2 billion years old, so they're probably like the oldest rocks on the planet. There's so many walks and things to see here, but I'm just going to mention a couple of my favourites. Let me preface this by saying that you will need some grippy shoes if you're going to go on some of these walks. Some of them are pretty easy, others involve climbing on rocks that might be slippery or descending down quite steep cliffs. We know Gorge, for example, has a spider walk, which is basically a cliff face with rocks jutting out so you can rock climb across the wall instead of walking through the river. I was actually really scared of scaling this wall. I did most of it, but towards the end the water got a bit shallow, so I just thought to myself, oh, I'll just wade through the rest of the water and it'll be fine. Now I'm going very slowly because it's very slippery, but just as I'm about to approach the dry land, I slip and dunk fully clothed into the water with my backpack on, which has my wallet and my phone and everything in it. Quick as a flash, I get up and I stride towards dry land. I'm really worried that everything in my bag is going to be ruined, including my phone. But lo and behold, I open my bag and everything is bone dry. So that's also a good tip. Make sure your bag is fully waterproof, just in case. We know Gorge also includes climbing down a pretty steep ladder, which is basically some rocks and a handrail for you to hold on. They probably installed that after someone fell, no doubt. I don't know. That might not be true. Don't come at me. But it comes to this secluded pool, which is really nice. And then you think the hard part's over until you realise you have to climb back up the ladder through the narrow passageway, also passing people coming your way, and it's all quite awkward, so just be careful with that one. That could be a slippery disaster. But the best rock pool, however, is in the Hancock Gorge, and it's so well hidden you don't even see it coming. Except you do, because you googled it beforehand. The water is such a pretty blue colour and it's absolutely freezing, but it is so fresh. I felt like I could literally drink it. So when you get there, please do take a dip in the water and see if you can beat my record of 5 seconds. The most beautiful spot, however, I would say is in the Dales Gorge at Fern Pool. This is a significant Aboriginal site, so even though you are allowed to swim in this pool, there are some rules that they ask you to abide by, so please make sure you do respect those rules. I loved sitting in the cave behind the waterfall. It just felt like such a magical place, this like secret little oasis. Really, really nice. And then just a little further on, you have the Fortescue Falls, which is a great little spot to stop for a picnic. Oh, we really do live in such a beautiful world, and I really miss travelling, and I really recommend Western Australia. It's so much less visited than some of the other states, and I think that's what makes it so beautiful to this day. It is much harder to get around, however, because it's not as built up, so I think hiring a car is definitely the best option. When I went, we spent a leisurely 6 weeks travelling from Perth all the way up to Darwin, but of course you can do it much quicker than that. You could also decide that you want to go only as far as Exmouth and back down to Perth. That reminds me, I wanted to do some honourable mentions that didn't make the list, but are still worth mentioning. The first on my honourable mentions list is Exmouth. I only mention Exmouth because this is where I went to swim with whale sharks. I did a whole previous video about it, so you can go check that out after this one if you like. But they also do lots of different tours for humpback whales and manta rays as well. I also want to mention the Stirling Ranges National Park, which is on the south coast of Western Australia. There's some great hikes there and some spectacular views of Western Australia. My last honourable mention is the Margaret River area, which I didn't get a chance to visit, and I really wish I had. It's a famous area for producing wine. I really wish I'd made more time for that, for the culture, the cultural aspects of it. So that was the rundown of my favourite places to visit in Western Australia. Do you agree with my choices? Did I miss out any places? Please let me know in the comments below. And please remember to hit like and subscribe. I'd really love to hear from you what you think of the videos and what you would like to see next. You can email me if you like at alicesbucket@outlook.com, and I promise to respond either in an email or in one of my videos. Remember to come back next Monday at 6 p.m. to find out what Australian state I will be looking at next. Until then, have a great week. Bye!